Lesson 2, Negative Exponents. The goal of this lesson is to simplify and evaluate powers with negative exponents. Two numbers with a product of 1 are called reciprocals. Since 4 times 1/4 equals 1, the number 4 and 1/4 are reciprocals. Let's look at an example. If I have 5 to the power of -2 times 5 to the power of +2, our exponent laws say that we will add the exponents. So we end up with 5 to the power of -2 plus 2. So 5 to the power of 0 or 1. Since the product is 1, then 5 to the power of -2 and 5 to the power of 2 must be reciprocals. So 5 to the power of -2 is actually equal to 1 over 5 squared. And 1 over 5 to the power of -2 is actually equal to 5 squared. Powers with negative exponents. When x is any non-zero number and n is a rational number, x to the negative n is the reciprocal of x to the n. Here's another way to look at it. We have 3 to the power of 4 over 3 to the power of 6 means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 on the top, so 4 3's on the top, 6 3's on the bottom. I can simplify things out by crossing off a 3 with the top and a 3 in the bottom until I run out of 3's on the top. I'm left with 2 3's on the bottom, or 1 over 3 squared. Our laws of exponents say 3 to the power of 4 divided by 3 to the power of 6. We would subtract our exponents. So 4 take away 6 will be 3 to the power of -2. That means that 3 to the power of -2 has to be equal to 1 over 3 squared. Write with a positive exponent. So we have 5 to the power of -6. That negative means take the reciprocal of the base. So my base is 5, the reciprocal is going to be 1 over 5. And now my exponent is positive. I'm not asked to evaluate any of these answers, just write with positive exponents. M to the power of -4, so the negative means take the reciprocal of m, which is 1 over m, and now my exponent will be positive. I have 1 over 4 to the -3. The reciprocal of 1 over 4 is just 4 to the power of 3. In part D, I have 1 over x to the -2, so the reciprocal will just be x to the power of 2. Evaluate each power. So this time I want to deal with the negative exponents, but I also want to evaluate or get to a single number answer. So I have 3 to the power of -2. That negative exponent means 1 over 3 squared. I can simplify 3 squared to 9, and so my answer is 1 over 9. -5 to the power of -4. That negative exponent means take the reciprocal of my base. My base is -5, so the reciprocal is 1 over -5. My exponent is now positive. So I have 1 over -5 all to the power of 4. If I have -5 to the power of 4, I end up with positive 625. So this is 1 over 625. Part C. In this question, we have a decimal that's being raised to a negative exponent. This is the one time where I'm going to allow you just to take out your calculators and to use your exponent button. So you should have maybe a y to an x button or an x to the -1 button, and you should be able to punch in 0.3 to the power of -4. As a decimal, this works out to 123.47 approximately, because it happens to be a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal. Let's try the same thing with this next one. So when we're punching this one into our calculator, we have -2 all to the power of -3. and I get negative 125. Part E is a fraction, so you don't need your calculator for this one. This negative exponent means take the reciprocal of the base. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 over 2, and all of that will now have a positive exponent. That exponent outside means that I need to do 3 squared over 2 squared. Well, 3 squared is 9 over 2 squared is 4. I will not accept decimal answers unless there's decimals in the question, so you need to work with the fractions in these last two questions. The last one, I have negative 3/4 all to the power of negative 3. The negative in the exponent says take the reciprocal of the base, so I now have negative 4 over 3 all to the power of 3. That exponent has to go to both parts of your base, so negative 4 to the power of 3 over 3 to the power of 3. Negative 4 to the power of 3 will be negative 64 over 3 to the power of 3 is 27. Okay, try practice number 2.